Hello.
Hello, is this working now?
Yes. Thank you for listening to this episode of ALBUMBLE. Now, unfortunately, we had a little bit of a technical problem while we were recording it. So in the second half of the podcast, you may notice that the sound quality changes suddenly, and there may be a few breaks in it. What we've done is we've gone through what we originally recorded and made some notes, and we're going to work back from that. So it might sound a little bit as though we're reading it from a script rather than doing what we normally do.
There is no script.
There is definitely not normally a script. But anyway, we hope you enjoy this episode because it's a really good album, and I think we enjoyed talking about it, didn't we?
I think
enjoyed
so.
Listening to
Oh, it's a bit of a spoiler alert. Oh,
no, not really.
No.
I mean, we haven't listened to an album yet where we've got to the end and said, I think this is a complete turd, have we?
There's always time.
I mean, it will happen.
It will happen.
Right, anyway, on with the theme tune. Hello.
Hello. Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
Yeah. Okay.
The technology works. Woo. Which is good because we're not ChatGPT.
No. And we don't lie.
No.
Well.
I'll tell you what, I looked up something on a well-known search engine. It was Google, obviously.
Yeah, not Ask Jeeves.
No.
Alta Vista.
I don't think Alta Vista has gone down the AI route yet, which is hugely advantageous. I asked it a straight question, not just through a search window, not through a specific AI window, and it came up and said something that by looking at the first link that came up below you could tell was completely wrong. I asked it on what year something had happened, and it told me it happened in 2023, but actually happened 2011.
Oh, that's quite well out as
So
well.
It's rubbish.
There's no AI here. It's just us two.
There's no I here. So,
Yes.
it's just us
Yes.
doing the thing
Doing the thing.
with the microphone.
Yes.
Not that thing.
No.
That's
oh,
disgusting.
No.
You shouldn't be thinking like that.
Yeah. So, hello, welcome to ALBUMBLE, where we review albums we didn't have time to do the first time round or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you could just shorten that to where we review albums.
Yeah.
But
Gotta
anyway.
have a shtick.
Okay.
So, have we got anything particular we want to say?
No, I don't think I need to go through the list, do I?
No.
Obviously, Pulp, as we record this, Pulp's new album came out the weekend before. It seems to be getting a good critical reception.
Yes, they seem to be top of the list of the secret acts for Glastonbury.
Yes. I don't know whether they actually will be,
No,
though.
I don't know. I don't think they have to. Don't think they need to.
No.
But
I think Patchwork, and I've got this from a good source, I think Patchwork will be Daphne and Celeste.
way and Shampoo.
Yeah, or... I mean, Shampoo were actually a proper... Anyway, right.
So, it was your choice this week.
It was...
And you chose for us...
Partie Traumatique by Black Kids.
Which we have listened to.
From 2008.
Which... Was it only the other year?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago.
No
more than that. Can't be much more than 2011 now, can it?
No.
Right, okay.
Right. So, shall we have a little talk about it?
Let's have a wander through. So the album opens, as is traditional, with track number 1.
Or not necessarily. It could be like a secret track or something.
Oh, there is an album which we've never spoken about, but I won't give that to you as a review because that might be a bit horrible. 13 by Die Ärzte has a hidden track before track 1, and the rest of the album is 17 tracks anyway. So it's a bit of a long one, but it's very good actually.
Okay.
Anyway, track 1 is Hit the Heartbreaks.
So we come quite quickly into the very rhythmic bass.
Yeah.
Percussion that seems to punctuate the rest of the album.
This is an indie dance floor album.
This is very much an indie dance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's quite an upbeat start. As I got through the album, I realised that the singer, the main male singer, slightly annoyed me.
Oh, okay.
When he does the like shouting bits, it sounds very off. I don't know if he's trying to be. I just felt like sometimes when he was shouting, singing, the tune never quite went where I thought it was going to.
Okay.
Which kind of jarred a little bit. Also, there's a lot of setup with the call and response. The boys do a bit, the girls do a bit.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning where you have like the knock knock joke.
Yeah.
Which kind of sets up the premise.
Yes.
So yes.
I think the opening to this does sound huge, and this does sound to me like this almost is going to turn into an album of very intricate prog rock. That's not where we're going.
No,
of course.
It doesn't. No.
But I think in a pop way, we sort of almost do, because it's there is a lot of experimentation with different styles going on here, and there's a lot of this song, I think, out of all of them on the album, possibly has the most going on in it. It's like they've thrown everything at the wall in this first song before deciding, beyond this, we're going to refine the ideas a bit more. I don't dislike it though.
No. I mean, I wouldn't say it's anything on here is dislikable.
No.
I just think some of it needs to be tamed. Slightly.
That's reasonable. So track 2 is the title track, Partie Traumatique.
So we start with a slightly spooky minor key.
Yeah.
Which slightly reminded me of some of the Zootons.
Yes, that's true, yeah.
Which I suppose is a bit earlier.
There are a lot of British influences running through this album.
Yes.
Which I found quite astonishing.
Yes, because they are American, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
But they don't seem to be very big there.
No.
They don't seem to have been very big anywhere, really.
No, but they were sort of around everywhere. I think part of the British sounds on this album may be down to the producer.
Okay.
Who is Bernard Butler.
Right, he's got a lot of fingers in a lot of pies.
Which, if there are certain times on this when you look at this and think, your fingerprints are all over that. We'll be coming on to that a little bit later. I liked this is big, it's dramatic, and it's slightly shambolic. This does feel as though it's a bit of a house of cards. It almost feels as though one decent puff of air and the whole lot's going to come tumbling down.
There was a kind of breakdown in the middle.
Yeah.
Where the song shifted slightly.
Yeah.
From that bit to the end, which was quite interesting.
Yes. And this is obviously a slightly lower tempo, I think, than a lot of the other songs, which I've got nothing against. You've got to have light and shade through an album, haven't you? Track 3 is Listen to Your Body.
So, this song has a very driven chorus.
Yeah.
It is beaten into you within an inch of your life, literally like the drummer is doing to the drum.
They do love a chorus.
It's da 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 da, like very incessant, which kind of does drive home. Obviously, you've then got another spoken bit where he does a bit and the girls do a bit.
Yeah,
kind of like not necessarily a conversation.
It's call and response thing, isn't it? Yeah. That is the one thing that I really do love about this album.
Yes.
We get an awful lot of that sort of thing all the way through. And I think if you're at a festival, if you're at a gig, that sort of thing is going to work really well.
Also, you've got the girls doing the verse effectively, and then you've got the male singer doing the chorus, but each part has got like an identity.
Yes,
but they do all work together, which it might not have, but they've obviously sculptured it quite carefully to make sure that it does flow.
Yes. You see, I think this is where the album finds its flow.
Yes.
Because this is the groove of this album. I think. There are awkward moments at parties. There's an expectation you're going to regret the aftermath of any decision you make. There's lust, there's desire, and there's always an overwhelming feeling of self-doubt in the back of your mind. There's so much about this is about an honest appreciation of, I think, teenage and youthful life. Yeah. Because a lot of it is not about the big experiences. A lot of it is about that constant feeling of, oh God, have I said the wrong thing? That sort of thing. And that's never far from the surface in this album. I really liked the 80s style synth that I think sort of comes up in the build to the chorus. Yes. That's very, that's a lot of fun as well. So track 4 is the second single in the UK, which was Hurricane Jane.
So there is what I've described as a talky 70s disco feel.
Yeah.
To this. It does feel like one of those disco records where they got somebody who couldn't quite sing and has kind of rapped-y sung over it. Not that I'm saying he can't sing.
No.
I'm just saying that's kind of style. Also, we have the what I've also described as the Bombay Boys Club, the song they always use to introduce the Glasgow coverage.
Bombay Bicycle Club.
Yeah, Bombay Bicycle Club. The kind of beginning of one of their songs sounds very close to this.
Right, okay. I'll have to go and listen to that then and see if I can work out what that is.
It's the one that it goes da 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 da.
That's not Bombay, but that's Two Door Cinema Club.
Oh, well, so that's why you didn't know it then.
That's the other one, yes.
Yeah, and there's also the other one that starts possibly.
No, I think you might be thinking of My Number by Foals.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it sounds like that as well.
Yeah. Well, the Two Door Cinema Club one, I think, is called What You Know or What You Need,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got that kind of beginning to it. And then it's kind of a song of two halves, because the second half has a bit of a synth breakdown and then kind of becomes something slightly different.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of space for the drama to expand through this, which is becoming a bit of a recurring theme in this album. This was released as a single. This was the second single off the album.
It doesn't strike me, obviously.
Didn't strike me as the obvious choice either. But, this got to number 36 in the UK.
So just scraping in.
So yeah, just woke up the top 40 there. But yeah, I thought it was an odd choice because it's quite sedate and it's not as obviously a jump up pop song as a lot of the others are.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily indicative of the album either.
No, it's
if that was like, this is trying to lead you into buying the whole CD.
Perhaps if you listen to the first two singles, I suppose it does give you a fairly good scope of the album, because the rest of it sort of falls between those two camps to an extent. So track 5 is I'm Making Eyes at You.
So this starts off quite slow.
Yeah.
And then it kind of ramps up again, and then it kind of has that change of tempo.
Yeah.
A few times. I actually would quite like to have heard this just slow, because I think it would have made a nice departure.
Yeah.
Something a little bit more different. They seem to do different things in the songs, but they're only really like 1 or 2 steps away from something else.
Yes.
Whilst if they'd have done something quite slower, it would have felt noticeably different.
It sort of goes to double time,
yes.
doesn't it?
The drum goes, yes.
Yeah. So I thought this was a lot more relaxed and reflective compared to a lot of it. And I think there's a Mediterranean vibe running through this. This sort of feels sort of 60s pop-ish in places, which just sort of allows the song to drift along.
Yeah.
Like, it still carries a fair... If you listen to the lyrics, it still carries a fair bit of emotional heft to it, like a lot of the songs on this album. But it does feel as though it carries that a lot more lightly.
Yeah. I know I have kind of slightly dissed the singer's ability to sing during this podcast, but I do actually think he sings this very well.
Yes.
And the harmonies with the female singers works very nicely.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is any processing on the female singers, because I don't know whether it's on purpose, but they do sound always quite... I don't want to use the word shrill.
I know what you mean.
Their voice is quite high-pitched compared to his. I don't know whether that's just a highlight that they've brought to the table, or whether it's been made to sound like that.
I'm not sure if there's a filter that's been used in production on there to make those sound like that. But you could quite well be right. Or it could just be how their vocals sound on tape. So that brings us to the end of side 1 of the album.
Yep.
We flip over for side 2, because this album was released on vinyl.
Oh, of course, yes.
God
before
help.
it was
whilst it was in the wilderness.
Yes,
I think is the phrase you're looking for.
The twilight years.
Yeah.
The shadow years.
While if you're looking for a copy of this on vinyl now, God help you and God help your bank balance.
Yes.
The first track on side 2 is number 6. I've underestimated my charm. Open brackets again. Close brackets.
So we start this side with some vim and vigour. I think is there is a lot of 50s, 60s doo-wop, Motown, wall of sound, that kind of energy to the song and to the production. Very bouncy. The tune is very memorable. I would say it is one of those songs that is a few steps away from what they've been... I would like to have seen them actually do more of this, because this sounds a very interesting combination of the contemporary music and instruments with a retro tilt.
I mean, if you look at a lot of the British music that was going on at that time and the years preceding this, you sort of had bands like the Zootons and the Coral who were making sort of quite a retro sound that was done in a modern way.
Yes.
And I also hear bits of St Etienne going on in this as well. I really like the very insistent tambourine that runs through the chorus on this, because that really powers it along. The second movement of the song, I think, is where all these British influences are thrown into it, and you get the sort of the ba ba,
the booby dooby dub bub,
all that stuff coming through in the chorus, and that could have been from any number of bands of this era of the late noughties.
As I said, it's a interesting thing that I wish they had gone down a bit more of that kind of style, because it's quite a well-known path.
Yeah.
That you could really experiment with.
Yes.
A known genre, should we say?
I think it's also, you get this quite a lot with debut albums. Bands are eager to get everything that they want to do out there, and they throw everything they've got at this, and then on
see what sticks.
Following albums. Well, then on following albums, they sort of choose the pathways they want to explore more. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. Second Panic at the Disco album.
Yes.
Absolute turd on a stick. But anyway, track number 7 is the first single, and probably the one that if people know songs off this album, it's the one they're going to know. I'm Not Going to Teach Your Boyfriend How to Dance With You.
So even though this is quite a pop, indie, dance album, this is unquestionably, undeniably the single.
In capital letters.
It's like a stick of rock.
Yeah.
It's got the word single written on the inside of the vinyl.
Yeah.
It's very commercial.
Yes.
Even on this record, it just stands out as something that's going to be kind of put out there for everybody to see and hear. Go on.
I do recall when this was released, I read a review of this, which may have been on Channel 4 Teletext. It may have been elsewhere.
Teletext.
Which said that...
That was like internet, but on the telly.
Yeah. Which said this, and not full of crap adverts as well. Just the odd advert for holidays. Anyway, it said that this song had the best gender-bending lyrics since Blur's Boys and Girls, which I think is missing the point, because if you listen to both vocalists on this as one point of view, giving one story across, then you get a storyline from this, which works really well.
Yeah.
Everything about this is perfectly of its era. The chant through it, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the dance.
Woo!
It is sort of perfect indie disco territory. I think it's a fantastic, joyous calling card for the band. And although there aren't actually that many lyrics in this song, if you listen to what's there, it sets a beautiful scene with very few words, which is a hugely skillful thing to do. You can see what's happening at this party or at this nightclub. You can see, you can visualise it in your mind, the emotions that are going on in between the characters who are being drawn here.
Yes.
I love how this works.
Yes.
It's a proper fairground of a song.
It's a very busy song.
Yeah.
In the background, because it's very, and I don't mean this in a negative way, it's very messy.
Yeah.
But it does have that almost punk, I don't give a kind of, it's just like putting it all out there, and it is kind of a bit of a messy situation.
Yeah.
So it does actually go along with what it's talking about.
Yeah. I think rather than where punk would use that energy to make something that sounded very scratchy, this is just everything is here and is going on at the same time. Yes. So, right, after that huge high, the next song on the album, which I've got to be honest, that's going to be an act to follow, isn't it? I give them their dues, though, for not front-loading this album.
That is very, very true.
The singles come in at 4, 7 and 10 on this album. So, by the way, that peaked at number 15, I believe.
Oh, nice.
I did have, hold on. I'm pretty sure it was number 15. I did look at singles. Number 11, sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So it very nearly went top 10.
Right.
Track 8 is Love Me Already.
So, as you said, this is a bit of a come down. It is unfortunately slightly, I don't want to say forgettable, but I think you are still processing the noise and the busyness and the kind of hoopla of what's just occurred.
So what you're saying is they needed to have an intermission.
Yes, they needed a zilch is what they needed. It's not a bad song. I'd say I was slightly put off by the rhyme of whore and Theodore, which,
I've heard worse.
I mean, at least it's not higher, fire, wire, desire, which is the Eurovision trope. But it is a little bit... Also, the lines don't quite fit the phrasing of the song either.
Yeah.
It feels like they take too many notes or too many bits to fit in the words. But there's a nice synthy bit in the middle. I just feel a bit like this song is you're still in the wake.
Yes.
Of the kind of highlight almost of the album.
Yeah. I think for me, this song feels quite front-loaded. Because it comes in, the lyrics start very quickly.
Yes.
It tells a story and then builds this soundscape around it for all of those images to sort of set down, and then you have a bridge which comes into a final chorus. I really like how this is constructed as a song, because this feels quite unusual to me. And it's that bridge back to the chorus at the end, because that could go into sort of a more synthy soundscape and then disappear off into the distance, but they don't. They deliberately bring it back. So I quite like that. Track number 9 is I Want to Be Your Limousine.
So, unlike the busyness of I'm not going to teach your boyfriend how to dance with you, this one has got all the instruments, but they seem to have a very clear space in the backing track where everything has its place and you can hear everything, and it's very clear, almost echoey, empty. But it's not empty. It just has obviously maybe some kind of processing on it, or some kind of filter, some kind of reverb. This one is, I don't know, would you say this is a little bit rude?
Well, I did wonder if the title was a tribute to Grace Jones, or a nod to Grace Jones. With a
bumper, yes. That's not rude at all, is it? Nothing to
it's
see
just about
here.
cars.
Yes, exactly.
This, to me, feels like the closest that the album gets to sort of heading off in a funk direction.
Yes, it has got that fun. Yeah,
and I get the feeling that at a live show, this would really get everyone on the dance floor and bopping along to this.
This would probably be like possibly one of the openers, or after the intermission. Come on, guys, let's get back into it. Do they have intermissions at gigs?
Not generally.
No? Okay. When was the last gig you went to? Oh, 1942.
I think the Eurovision Party counts as a gig, doesn't it?
There were several intermissions.
Yes.
Because there were lots of older people.
Oh, right. I'm not convinced about the vocal chants on the final chorus of this.
Oh, the OEOs.
Yeah.
The Munchkin guards.
Yeah.
OEO.
I'm not entirely sold on it.
I mean, I'm not sure it 100% fits, but I think it is an interesting cultural reference to make to end a song. I don't know, maybe they really like The Wizard of Oz. I don't know.
It's quite possible. It's there as a cultural touchstone for an awful lot of people, isn't it? Now, to close out the album, we have track number 10.
Yeah.
Look at Me When I Rock With You.
Yes. So we go back to the talking rap style, which put me, first of all, it put me in touch with retro bands like the Tom Tom Club.
Yes.
We got that wordy Rapping Hood type. I think possibly the female rap again.
Yes,
is
that does have
putting
a
that
lot
in
of
mind.
that, doesn't it? Yeah.
But then that also made me think, going slightly in a weird direction, that basically what this was the Ting Tings doing the back catalogue of Talking Heads, but no, like, because obviously Talking Heads are quite arty, quite a bit up themselves in some ways, and the Ting Tings have this slight childishness. I don't want to. Maybe that's a.
You mean they're the indie Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yes. Yeah, oh God, no. Yes.
You've heard, I'm sure, the Scott Mills mashup of...
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is kind of like a lot of kind of mishmashing of things in this song. It's a great final track, really upbeat, and it gets you to the point where when it actually finishes, you think, oh...
Yeah.
It's been. No, it hasn't finished. It's the actual whole thing has finished.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is not a bad way to end, because if you've got people feeling, I want more, then that can't be a bad thing.
Hey, you gotta leave them wanting more.
Yes.
Yeah. This was the third single to be taken off the album.
It was a single?
It was a single.
Oh, right, okay.
The first two got physical releases in the UK.
Yeah.
This one didn't. This was only as a download. And I think by the time the album was out, which it was by the time the third single came out...
So did most people already have the album?
Yeah, and I think that affected the performance of this as a single. This got to number 175.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, this does feel a bit bad, because it is actually a really good song.
It is.
And I think if they had maybe put this, maybe the other way round with Hurricane Jane.
Yeah.
And maybe had that as the second single, it might have got a bit more oomph.
You see, the only thing I think about that is they possibly didn't want to sell this as an all-out... party album, because if you listen to
true.
Boyfriend and Look at Me, they're not a million miles away from each other.
No,
in terms of being sort of big end of the night indie disco songs.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted to show that there was more than one colour on this album.
Does anybody actually? I take it nobody ever played this on the radio.
I think it got some airplay on Radio 1
at the time. But no one plays this now, do they? They should.
Aside from me,
no,
I don't think they
okay.
do. But no, I absolutely love this. I think this is one of the best pop songs.
Yes.
That's about out there, and I've said this about other songs on the album, but this is. This brings sort of all the self-doubt that you get in a lot of the songs on this album. This blows all of that away and just goes out there as a finale of joy and love going out there. And it's really nice to hear the album end on a positive.
Yes.
And a really uplifting track.
Yes.
So,
it is.
Right, I think that just about covers that. We'll see you on the other side of the jingle. Now, I realised at the start I said this is called Partie Traumatique.
Yes.
It's just Partie Traumatic.
Oh,
It's the IE on the end of party that threw me.
That makes you make it French.
Yeah, Partie Traumatique.
Yeah, well, it might be.
Yeah. They went on to release another album in 2017.
Okay.
So that was 9 years after.
That's only the other year.
8 or 9 years after their debut. Now, I do seem to remember, I mentioned Channel 4 Teletext a bit before.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they were one of the two bands that John Earls, who used to review music on there,
right.
used to sort of plug that, there's new music coming from them, there's music, along with the Avalanches.
Oh,
the Avalanches were the other one that were always the favourite one for that. But yeah, it took a little while for it to come out. I do wonder if this is the last album that made sort of references to youth by young people that I can actually still have any identification with.
Are you purporting that you are no longer youth?
I don't understand modern pop music.
Well, I don't understand young people. Well, sometimes.
I've been listening to a fair bit of...
And that's not necessarily their fault. That might be a bit of ours as well.
I've been listening to quite a lot of Radio 1 at work over the past few weeks. And I've noticed a lot of people who sing in very contrived ways.
Yeah.
Sort of sounding a bit like Lena out of Aqua. But expecting to be taken seriously. Yes. And apparently being taken seriously, which I don't quite get. I mean, everything is now slathered in so much production.
Yes.
There doesn't seem to be much natural going on. There's a lot of sort of very crass lowest common denominator pop around as well. And if you listen to purely what's in the top 40 now, you'll only hear sort of 2 different styles of music.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
also if you've got like the Spotify things.
Yeah.
If you just leave that running, you just get the same stuff that the algorithm decides you want to listen to.
And the Spotify playlists, I think, do a lot of the damage on this.
Yeah.
Say, I listen to today's hot hits. Well, the problem is if you just accept what you're being fed and there's no conscious decision to go out there and consume something that you want. I mean, there is so much variety out there musically these days. But excuse me, mainstream, it just doesn't seem to happen. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed that album anyway.
Yes, it was something a little bit different.
Your choice where we're heading next.
Yes. So, obviously, the next podcast will be technically our first birthday, because our first podcast came out on the 1st of July.
Oh, okay.
So, this will be like our anniversary.
No, we've had loads of those.
Oh, darling. I know we've been together longer than that.
I thought you'd notice. Back when we got together, you used to go out and buy albums in pounds, shillings and pence.
From our price.
No, it was well before our price. From Phoenix Record Store.
From the penny market.
On the corner.
Yeah. So, not that means anything about... I just thought I'd mention that it's our anniversary.
Okay.
Not that that's got anything to do with the album. So, I'm going to choose something a little bit different. Might not necessarily be in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
I'm going to let you have a listen to Cupid and Psyche 85
by Scritti Politti.
By Scritti Politti.
Yeah.
Now, there's only 9 songs on the original album.
Okay.
But they are very long songs. They're nearly all between 4 and 5 minutes.
Oh, that's not very long.
So we won't have many songs to actually talk about, but they're sizable.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a decent amount of history that you can actually get into.
Yes.
Because in some way or shape or form, they're still going.
Yes, I mean, they haven't been active particularly recently, but I know they have sort of little flurries of activity every so often.
Yes. So that'll be our first birthday. Right. Thank you for listening to ALBUMBLE.
Yes.
You can find us on Twitter at ALBUMBLE.
Yeah.
Or you can find us individually on Blue Sky.
Yeah. Friendface. 4chan.
I hope not.
The dark web.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we're on the dark web under best cocaine deals. No.
What? We have not.
Don't
we
look
have
for
got
that.
Nothing to do with cocaine.
Wow. Anyway, No, we're good, clean living folk.
Yes.
Honest.
Make sure you find us, subscribe, share,
tell next door's cat.
But don't listen to that derivative one that's now come up on BBC Sounds. They've obviously copied.
Which one's that?
The Stephen Rainey one, where they just do albums everyone knows.
Oh, bollocks to that.
I know, but it feels like our podcast. Or at least the idea of it. I haven't actually listened to it.
So you mean what they're doing is a podcast version of those tedious books that you get saying 1,001 albums you must listen to before you die. And they're written by somebody who used to work for the NME with a huge chip on their shoulder. No offence, David Quantick.
Yeah, I haven't actually listened to this podcast, but it does look very like, here's an album, we're going to talk about it. But unlike us, they do all the like albums that everyone knows.
I'll tell you what album we'll be reviewing next time. That's Queen's greatest hits.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for this reconstructed episode of ALBUMBLE.
Yes. Reconstructed rather than like when the chefs do the deconstructed sandwich. We've had to...
So we've put a layer of audacity dust around the edge of the plate, poked a couple of deep-fried USB sticks in the middle.
And called it art.
And then Bucky O'Hare gets to wet himself over that and
it doesn't take much for him to wet himself.
Oh, it's great, that, love. It's really brilliant.
Yeah, you look and sound it, Bucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, right.
Well, his hair normally looks that impressed anyway. Depending on which hair he's got this season.
Right.
Yes. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
See you again next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.